Hello, hello. Welcome to the Signboard demo. I'm going to be walking you through Signboard on macOS, but it runs also on Windows and Linux. And this is a demo nonsense board, and I'll walk you through that a little bit. But in general, it's just a project management tool that uses Kanban to be able to drag your cards from one list to another, and your lists can be named anything that you'd like. The kind of difference that Signboard is that it stores Markdown files on your local disk. So here's a Finder window with the Markdown files. They are stored in their own directories. So all Signboard boards really are is just a directory full of Markdown files. So as I drag one, it moves it into each other's directory. If I create a new one, like new task, a new one is created right there. You can see this one was created just now. So that's how that works. You can click on a card and open it and add other information to it, like lists of information, headings, content, tasks. So if I came in here and I added a new task, say do this later, on any task I can add a due date to that task so that it has its own due date, separate from the due date that's on the card itself. Cards have labels, which you can customize. You can add as many as you want in any colors that you'd like. I'll show you how to do that in a minute. This area here is just basic Markdown editing. It doesn't have very fancy features, links, lists, bold, etc., but nothing too extraordinary. Pretty simple. One kind of cool thing is I use this a lot, which is adding a timestamped item. This is a custom button. So when I take notes on a phone call, I may want to record when I took the notes for that phone call. I do this a lot. And so I built in a button just to do that. The buttons on the cards allowed you to archive them, so it would literally disappear from your board. They don't get deleted, though. Share, which is the default share sheet for your operating system. Duplicate, so that way you can create template cards. So if I wanted to duplicate this one, if I just click this, it would duplicate it exactly in place in the same list that it's in. It would add the words copy of, and now I have a brand new one and I'm already editing it. That makes it very nice to come into Signboard, create some templates. If you reuse the same sort of templates for things that you do, and then be able to just copy them later on. And then a little convenience arrow here. Instead of having to drag, you can always just move it to the next list, and that would move it to the next list here. And of course, if it was in the last position list, it will turn backwards. You can also switch lists by just selecting it here. So I can say, oh, let's move this back to to-do again. Due dates on the cards. This all shows up in some really neat views that Signboard has. Signboard has a calendar view. So any card with a due date or a task within a card with a due date would show up in this calendar view. If a card has a due date and the task has a due date on the same date, it does not show up twice. It only shows you it once. It also shows you the current list that it's on, so you can know, let's say that I had, document 10 competitors. Let's say that this was in the done. I finished this. At least it would tell me right here in calendar that it's done. So that's kind of nice. Unique to Signboard, perhaps, is this week view, the this week view, inspired by my use of bullet journal for many, many, many years. I kind of created this bullet journal layout where you could see an entire week on one spread. So you have the first 3 days of the week on the left and the second half of the week or the second part of the week on the right. And I find this extremely useful. I come in on a Monday morning, I can see exactly what my week looks like. You can move between weeks, of course, here. Go forward and back in time and see what your weeks are going to be like. Same in calendar. I didn't show this, but you can skip through the months right here and then get back to today quickly. Let's go into some of the individual board settings. Well, before I get there, let's go to sorting. You can sort by any label very quickly. You can sort by cards that have a due date very quickly. You can search very quickly. You can add a new list, of course. Dark theme is enabled on any board. Also, the board settings, you can rename it, you can move it. You can set up your custom labels with their own color. You can, of course, delete them. If you delete them, it'll remove them from all the cards that you had. You can set up your light theme and dark theme to be whatever you'd like. I've started to store some like favorites, so I may add them in here, but as you move the color picker around, it sort of tries to figure out what a good complement would be. So please write in with some good combinations if you have any. Like I said, I had a cool dark theme specifically for this board. These are board specific, but you can apply them to all the boards that you have. I don't know if you noticed, but here on this top row, you can have as many boards as you like and switch between them very quickly. There's no loading. This is not the web, remember. There's no internet piece behind this. Notifications per board. So if you wanted to set up notifications for to happen on your Mac or Windows or Linux, you can create reminders. And the notification will come in at whatever time you set here. I've kind of done this on purpose so that it's not a nagging feature, but I may change this a little bit where maybe every hour or something it could let you know. But for now, Signboard once per day at whatever time that you'd prefer will remind you of the things that you need to do today. So yeah, I think I went through most of these. I just got one right now, actually. I just got one that says redesign homepage. And it may be from this one. Let's see. Redesign. Oh yeah, redesign homepage. So it's from today. So that's why it came up. So very cool. The colors of the dates are based on whether it's due today or it's due tomorrow. So due tomorrow is green, I believe, and due today is red, and then anything else is just the normal color. So that's kind of nice so that you can, at a glance, see what's due today. I'll probably add something like due today here at some point. I mean, obviously that is also viewable in this day view, but you can there's a lot of keyboard shortcuts. If you hold down Command on Mac or Control on Windows, this little keyboard shortcuts helper will come up. You can add a card, you can add a list, you can switch between the views, and you can, of course, close any of the modals. So if I wanted to go to Today View, I can just hit Command 3, Command 2, Command 1, pretty much instantaneously and move. Some other cool things is that it has a CLI. So I'll show you how to use this, actually. If you use the Signboard use command, you can tell it that all the Signboard commands that you send after this will use the same board. So then I can say, Signboard help and look at what can this do. I can create a list. I can create a card and what list I want it to create, those sorts of things. So this is all in here, which is kind of nice. And as you do things like Signboard, cards, create list to do, and I want to create, I don't actually use the CLI that much, so if I get this wrong, don't make fun of me. Hello, let me do this. Hello, too. Nope, I must have did it wrong. I have to do title. Okay, so when I did that, you probably didn't notice because it showed up at the bottom. It live updates. You don't have to refresh anything. You don't have to come in here and look for anything. And that is also immediately available in any. This is Claude Cowork. So there's an MPC server as well. So Claude could either use the CLI, which is totally fine, or it can use the MCP. So I could say, create a card on my Signboard. I don't know if I have to do this in quotes, but I'm doing it on my Signboard demo board to finish the recording and add it to my done list. We'll see if this figures this out. It usually does a pretty good job. We're still working on the MCP. There's a couple little oddities with how it retrieves things. Okay, it found the board. I have to keep saying please do this unless I unlock everything, which I don't with my cowork. But looks like it's going to get it done. So done. It added it. Finished the recording. There it is. So that's kind of cool. The MCP can do labels. You can create an entire board. I did one earlier. Let me see here. I did one earlier. I don't know where they are in here. As I said, I don't use Claude Cowork too much. Here's one. So, I'm building a patio in the backyard. I need to hire a contractor, create a board for me. And it did it. I don't have it open right now, but it went in and created all the boards for me, all the labels, all the due dates. I wanted to get done by a specific date. It does a pretty remarkable job with that. But I'm still working at trying to hone that in a little bit to make it more useful. If you like Signboard, please pay for it, or at least tell people about it. It is free for personal use. If you use it for commercial purposes, I just ask that you pay one time. I figure if you're using it commercially, a small payment like $49 is probably easy to do because you're probably making money with it. But if you're not and you just want to leave a tip, there's also a button for that, and I'd really appreciate it. And please tell people about it, and I hope that you like it.